everyone, and welcome back to Marketing Ninja Unleashed. It's me again, Reena, founder of You and Your Story. And as always, I'm here to help you build a brand that connects with people, grows your business, and most importantly, lasts. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know that I always try to bring marketing back to the fundamentals. Yes, marketing is evolving all the time. We've got new tools, new platforms, and now AI is changing how we create content, analyze behavior, and reach audiences. But when you strip all of that away, the core principles of good marketing are still the same. It's about understanding people, it's about communicating clearly, and it's about building trust over time. In today's episode, I want to explore 3 areas that I think every business owner and marketing leader should be thinking about. First of all, we're going to talk about what good brands do well. I'll be using examples like Coca-Cola, Apple, and Experian, because these are companies that have managed to stay incredibly clear about who they are and what they stand for. Then I want to drop in a little reminder of why it's okay to be fun in your marketing, and how one word always makes me smile and brings back happy memories. Then I want to talk about something that is hugely important in B2B marketing, but not discussed enough, and that's emotional self-awareness and different personality types. Understanding how people think, how they communicate, and how they make decisions can completely change the way your marketing actually performs. And finally, we're going to talk about data, what marketers should actually be collecting, and how to use that information to create insights that genuinely help a business grow, rather than just producing numbers on a dashboard. So let's start by looking at what strong brands get right. When people talk about successful brands, the conversation often ends up focusing on advertising, campaigns, or clever creative ideas. But the truth is, the brands that really stand at the test of time are the ones who are incredibly clear about their mission, purpose, and vision. Let's take Coca-Cola for an example. Coca-Cola has been around for well over a century, and yet their brand message has remained remarkably consistent. They're not just selling a fizzy drink. Their entire brand is built around the idea of sharing moments, happiness, and connection. Think about their adverts over the years. They very rarely talk about the ingredients or product features. Instead, they show people coming together, celebrating, laughing, and enjoying time with each other. Whether it's their infamous Christmas campaigns, their Share a Coke campaign, or their global advertising, the emotional message remains exactly the same. Now let's look at Apple. Apple's brand has always been about more than technology. From the very beginning, their messaging focused on challenging the status quo and empowering creativity. Their famous Think Different campaign perfectly captured that idea. Apple positioned itself as the brand for people who want to do things differently, create, innovate, and push boundaries. And you see this in everything that they do. Their product design, their packaging, their stores, their advertising, it all reinforces that same identity. And then there's Experian. Now, Experian isn't a consumer brand in the same way Coca-Cola or Apple are. But they've built a very strong brand around something that could otherwise feel quite technical and complicated, and that's data and financial insight. Their mission is all about helping people and businesses make better financial decisions. Everything they communicate reinforces that purpose, helping individuals understand their credit, helping businesses manage risk, and using data to empower smarter choices. What these 3 brands have in common is clarity. They know why they exist, they know who they serve, and they know that communicating their message consistently across everything that they do will make a difference. And that's the lesson for any business, regardless of size. Strong brands aren't built by accident. They're built by consistently reinforcing a clear mission and purpose over time. Last year, I went on holiday with Shan Patel, and the plan was to switch off, but I ended up being inspired by so many things that I couldn't quite switch off. One of the first things was at Birmingham Airport, and it was their digital robot assistant. I know, I'm very easily amused, but the reason this got my attention was because of the clever use of local language. They call the digital robot Babs, and I'm not sure whether it was intentional or not, but it's a local term that I first heard as a student in a baguette shop in Birmingham, and it confused me then, but I did get used to it. I was asked, "What can I get you, Babs?" And it threw me. I was from Leicester. People used to say love or duck. Who was this Babs, and why did they call me Babs? Was it a good thing? Living in Birmingham actually helped me realise it was just a term of endearment, and I got over it pretty quickly. So when I saw Babs at Birmingham Airport, it really made me smile. If it was intended, it was a great play on local language that more brands should be using. If it wasn't intended, it definitely made my day anyway. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because recently I went along to a free photo shoot organised by the IWD Expo in Birmingham. And a lovely lady asked me to say, "All right, Bab," into a microphone. I just burst into giggles. And then I explained why the word Bab made me giggle so much. She understood, and she explained that their podcast that she wanted me to do the recording for was to create a more inclusive community in Birmingham. And she gave me the title of an honorary Bab. I was chuffed, and I did it with a huge smile. I can't wait to see the outcome of it, and I will share it on my socials if anyone is interested. I would love to know what local terms your brand uses in different areas, or whether you've seen brands use local terms to show that they actually understand the local community. If they have, drop me an email and let me know.
Buying a car can feel like guesswork. Is it really the right price, or should you wait? With Car Gurus, you get unbiased deal ratings, price change history, and trusted dealer reviews, so you can spot a great deal and buy with confidence. Go to cargurus.co.uk for complete vehicle details without any surprises. That's cargurus.co.uk. cargurus.co.uk. Car Gurus. Search, buy, sell, sorted.
Now I want to talk about something that might not sound like a typical marketing topic at first, and that's emotional self-awareness. But honestly, I think it's one of the most powerful skills a marketer or business owner can develop. In B2B marketing especially, we sometimes forget that behind every job title is a human being. Yes, someone might be a CEO, a procurement director, or a marketing manager, but there's still a person with their own communication style, preferences, and decision-making process. Some people like quick, high-energy conversations where they get straight to the point. Others prefer detailed explanations and reassurances before making a decision. Some people respond really well to stories and examples, while others want facts, figures, and logical reasoning. This is where understanding personality types becomes incredibly useful. Because when you start to recognize how different people communicate and process information, your marketing and your sales conversations become far more effective. And this starts with self-awareness. Understanding how you naturally communicate, how you present ideas, and how others might interpret your message is a really important part of strong relationships. For example, if you're someone who loves big ideas and quick decisions, you might unintentionally overwhelm someone who prefers to move slowly and analyze information carefully. But when you understand these differences, you can adapt. You can adjust your tone, your pacing, and your messaging, so it resonates with the person that you're speaking to. And that's incredibly powerful in B2B marketing because trust is everything. People don't just buy services based on logic. They buy from people they feel comfortable with, people who understand them, and people who communicate in a way that makes sense to them. So when you combine marketing strategy with emotional awareness, something really interesting happens. Your conversations improve, your messages become clearer, and your relationships with customers become stronger. The final topic that I want to talk about today is data, because it's something that's becoming more and more important in marketing. Now, data can sound intimidating. People imagine huge spreadsheets, complicated dashboards, and endless metrics. But at its core, data is simply information that helps you understand what's happening in your business. And as marketers, there are three main types of data that can provide incredibly valuable insights. The first is your audience data. This is about understanding who your customers actually are, what industries they work in, what challenges they're facing, and what problems they're trying to solve. Without this understanding, marketing becomes guesswork. The second area is behavioral data. This is about how people interact with your brand. For example, which pages they visit on your website, which emails they open, what content they engage with, and how long they spend reading or watching something. Tools like Google Analytics, CRM systems, and marketing automation platforms can give you a huge amount of insight into customer behavior. And the third type of data is conversion data. This tells you exactly what's driving results. Where are your leads coming from? Which campaigns generate inquiries? Which content encourages people to take action? When you combine these different types of data, something really powerful happens. You move away from assumptions and you start making decisions based on evidence. Instead of saying, I think this might work, you can say, the data shows this is working. And that's where marketing becomes a lot more strategic. Because data helps you refine your messaging, understand your audience, and focus your efforts on the activities that actually drive growth. So today, we've explored a few important areas. We've looked at how strong brands like Coca-Cola, Apple, and Experian succeed because they're incredibly clear about their mission, purpose, and vision. I talked about how a local term made me smile and brought back positive memories, instantly making me feel good about the brand. We've talked about why emotional self-awareness and understanding personality types can transform the way you communicate with customers. And we've explored how collecting data and analysing it in the right way can turn guesswork into insight. At the end of the day, marketing isn't just about tools and platforms or trends, it's about people. And when you combine clear brand strategy, emotional awareness, and meaningful data, you create marketing that is far more effective and far more sustainable. Now, over the next couple of episodes, we're going to be doing something a little different because I've got some fantastic guest interviews lined up. These conversations will bring different perspectives on business growth, marketing strategy, and leadership, and I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. So, if you've been enjoying these solo episodes, the next few discussions will add even more insight and real-world experience to the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, you and your story is here to make sure your story is the one the world won't forget.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.